Welcome, everyone. We hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are having the most fortunate day today. I am super excited to introduce you guys to Joan of Angels. Joan of Angels is the founder of the Intuitive Ninja Superpower Training. She's an intuitive guide, an oracle, spiritual luminary, host of Step Into the Miraculous, a best-selling author, and a visionary artist. And she also has an amazing 4-week, 6-week course coming up. Welcome, Joan.
Well, I am so excited. That's a great introduction, Janie. I'm very, very excited to be here. I'm excited to be with all these ascended masters and people who want to learn how to kind of step into their greatest gifts this lifetime.
Yeah,
No better time than right now, I think.
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. If you're going to do it, this is the time.
Yeah, now is the time and no more waiting.
Well, it's true. No, it's true. I kind of believe that in order to have the life that we really came in to do, it's really important to start to know who you are, understand miracles are possible for us, start to see the bigger picture, and then collaborate with people like you, with people like Spiritually Raw, with other ascended masters and like-minded people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really important to create the connections that expand all of us actually, and create friendships that it's pretty cool because they're all like pretty tight in a sense, on a different level than even like what I've got to experience before.
Yes, I know, I agree with you. We are a tribe of people who are really seeking to have an expanded consciousness. Okay, I call it like fifth dimensional frequencies in a third dimensional body.
Yeah.
That could explain it all, is how do we maneuver those energies and still, be raise our vibration, but still pay the bills, still
Yep.
have a life down here, be healthy, wealthy, and happy.
Yeah. This
And
is part of the whole ball of wax, isn't it?
it is, and it's not so easy right now, Janie. That's what I want to say. I've been around longer than you, and I could just tell you, I have never seen times like this that are so tricky,
Yep.
so tentative, so requiring humanity to really up their game, or they're going to be kind of either they're really going to up their game and have this ascension and increased awareness, or if they choose not to, there's no middle ground anymore. It's going to sort of go that way. So we're really on two different timelines.
Yeah.
And I kind of see what's going on here as our grand initiation. The whole planet has an opportunity to up level,
Yeah.
to really up level our game and why we're here and actually do what we came here to do, which has been impossible for this life, for many, and for thousands of years. Like, we have an opportunity now. and that's like the cocoon of the coronavirus. We kind of had those shutdowns, we went into a cocoon, and now people are at the end of that cocoon. They're going, oh wait, what is there for me? And some people are going, it's crazy out there, I don't know why I ended up here. Like,
Yeah.
whose idea was it to send me down to this planet, right?
I didn't sign up for that. Maybe I did. Yep.
Well, that's the whole point. If you're down here, you signed up for it. All right.
Yeah.
It is not an accident that you're here. And if you signed up, if you look at it and you go, this is crazy, why am I here? Well, you're in the right place then to start to discover why you chose to be here in these crazy times and what is the whole grand purpose of your being here. So I truly believe that those of us who are called to this work, or those of us who are called to hear us who are doing this work, like to be part of this tribe, really had a mission and purpose when they came down. It was an assignment. And I like to say we all have a clipboard, and on the clipboard is our assignment. And it also has kind of how we're going to do it. It actually has our game plan. It has the tools you need, but it's a matter of remembering.
Yeah.
So it is, right? It's a matter of remembering.
So do you offer help for people that would like to remember and they feel like they can't?
Well, see, that's one of my specialties, Janie. When I was younger, I got a master's in counseling. Why? Because I wanted to know who I was. I didn't know the spiritual route at that time. I thought psychology, counseling was the way to go. So, and they say in counseling that you are studying counseling because you have so many problems that you need to learn how to deal with it. You're doing it really as a self help. And I
Yeah.
did. I had lots of issues I had to learn how to release and let go just because, and I knew what I was going to do young when I was in my early 30s. I was shown what I'm here to do, but not really shown how to do it.
Hmm.
And so it's taken me a lifetime to sit here and say that, because now I've designed these programs on how you can fast track to find what you're here to do, and to open up that clipboard and go, oh yeah, wait, I have the gift of compassion. I am very intuitive. Oh my God, they sent me down here with tools to like read between the lines.
Uh-huh.
Well, holy moly, I am a good navigator. Who would have thought that? It's so exciting to figure out the tools that you have to do this. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
part one. And I think part two of this is realizing we are in a war between light and dark right now. We're in spiritual warfare,
Yeah.
and,
Like never
and
before.
like never before. However, like never before, this is the time humanity can actually make it happen. Okay,
Yeah.
we can break through that veil that's kept us from actually going through the ascension process. The lid is off because so many of us are waking up,
Hmm.
right? So it's a spiritual battle, but in order to have your faith, confidence, and belief in it, knowing who you are and the whole shebang helps you shift your DNA. Okay, add sequences, upgrade your DNA so you can actually become that person that you actually were assigned to be, but you forget because we're in this human body.
Yep.
That's a
Uh,
mess.
Yeah, it is. And then on our journey, we went through all this stuff that helped us block and forget even more. And so that's really cool that you're offering ways to open that back up so people can get on their path and stay there.
Yes, because we're sent down here to forget. Okay, remember we're in a 3D world that's pretty intense down here.
Yeah.
And that lies to us, and that really doesn't give us any clues about who humanity is. Where we really come from and our potential. So I like to say there's sort of a thumb on us, to withhold this. I just
And
thought,
sometimes you feel that it's like, ah, yeah,
right, right, right.
yeah,
So knowing who you are, okay, what role you play gives you the fuel to actually overcome any of the system's means of trying to suppress you, okay, which is huge. They have the ball is kind of in their court in a certain way, but it's not, because we are waking up. And so as we wake up, we actually upgrade our DNA so that it can handle these new codes, and that we can raise our light frequency. And when we raise our light frequency, we raise the vibration. The dark energy can no longer be here because
yeah. I
light
can't wait for that.
are.
I'm so excited.
But I want everyone to understand that when your heart is singing with joy because you're here doing what you are so grateful to be able to do, whether you're paid or not, it's like your heart sings. It's like, oh my God, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Uh, the more people that have that aha feeling, the higher the vibe. Planet Earth then also shifts. You can't have dis-ease, you can't have illness when your heart is literally singing with the divine.
Well, and that makes total complete sense. I haven't heard it put together in that fashion until now. Um, but I have been able to go through spurts in my life where I was like, I'm on my path, I'm doing what I love. And you're right. It's like nothing can knock you off your pedestal. It's just like,
Right,
and you're on a mission and it's fun and nothing can get in there.
right.
And I used to use that as a barometer for like when I'm on, I had a certain reference point for like a vibration, and when I was off, it was like I could tell when I was slipping a little bit, when I was allowing other people like to get in my space where they didn't belong.
Right. And
Super
that's called
interesting.
giving our power away. And
Hmm.
what's really interesting is I wanted to talk to you about because about this. So one of the things about knowing who we are, and one of the ways that I in the classes that I teach, step one is to take a look at your birth path. And that gives you a map, a blueprint of what you're here to do. So in the first class, I'm going to teach that, and I'm going to do some mini readings for people. So the beauty of the class is this. Yes, there's going to be a lecture style, so we'll be talking.
Hmm.
Well, I'll be talking at first, and then everyone can start asking questions, and then there's going to be group interaction. I'll turn the camera on even, which I know these days is almost unheard of, but I want to touch and feel and help you like to do it.
Yeah.
So when I say it's a hands-on class, that's why I have a master's in counseling. I'm a hands-on and a chiropractor, hands-on.
Yep.
So
Touchy
and
feely.
so let me explain to you what that would look like. So I did your birth path before we hopped on.
Hmm.
So you are a 2911. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do this in the class. First class, you are going to know it. And who knows, maybe we'll have time to practice with each other in the class. So you're 2911. What does that mean? That means that you came in to do whatever those kind of numbers align with you, plus live those lessons. So an 11 is a 1 plus 1, right?
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
that is a master number, a double number, 11, 22, 33. So those are called master numbers. What is a master number, especially 11? Well, the saying for that one is, and you're going to relate to it, either you master it or it will master you.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And you probably know what that means,
Yeah.
right?
On multiple levels.
On multiple levels. It is so intense because it's the Christ number. Actually,
Ah,
it's the master number. It's the number of the master. So of course that means you agreed to come in this lifetime to have harder lessons than many people.
what was I thinking?
I want you to see yourself sitting up here. We have our soul council. We're going, yes, this lifetime, I really want to do it. So an 11 is also past life connections. So you're living what you're doing here now is stuff that you've done here in other lifetimes.
Okay.
And the biggest challenge, there's two huge challenges with being an 11. One is that it's the number one plus the number one. So we're going to break it down to what is the number one.
Hmm.
Number one is personal power. It's even personal power. And get this, the lesson spirit will give you if you have personal power on your path is to introduce you to people whose whole mission is to knock you off your path. Okay?
That makes a lot of sense too.
But if you didn't know that, you would go, I think I'm a loser. How am I ever going to manage this? I'm lost. That person, right? You'd be a victim.
Yeah.
But if you knew that spirit is going to send you people like that to test you, to make sure you have the confidence in yourself that you need, then holy moly, you can go into the den of thieves and you'll be protected.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah. So in our class, and I hope maybe you'll be in the back room so you can learn these secrets of how you maneuver this. But ones need to know their purpose, that even if they don't know their purpose, like let's say, Janie, your purpose is to just hold steady. Okay, I'm asking what your purpose is. Kind of as part of it is to hold steady with faith, confidence, and belief. Somehow you're actually required to believe. I
Which makes
don't
a
know
lot of
why.
sense.
Okay, I don't know why, but that's what I'm hearing.
Hmm.
And so it's and so it doesn't matter as long as you know that you have something you're supposed to do. You don't have to know everything on your clipboard yet,
Right.
right? You just have to know that it is so, and your guides will reveal it as the time comes. So let's say now that your mission this life is to get the red ruby on the the badass dragon that's in the top Himalayan place.
Yeah.
All right. And this is your lifetime mission. And you
Great
know that,
metaphor.
right? And what do? Well, you're on your path, but over here, and it's really like akin to the knight in shining armor. So there you are. There's, we're going for the red ruby, but there's a damsel in distress here, and you go to town, you get drunk, you kill, you get into fights over here, but you wake up in the morning, no matter how drunk, and you go, oh yes, wait, there's a reason, red ruby, and you get back over here.
Hmm.
So the super tools you've been given are double swords, because you're a double one, to slay the dragon, to get rid of anything that's in your way. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot, so you cut it away and you pick yourself up, get over your hangover and keep going, because you're not going to get distracted by the distractions. And that's another lesson.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's one of the lessons of an 11, which is a master number, because great things are here for you to do if you remember to not get lost.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
right? So that's how, but so I hear someone saying, well, how does that help me? Well, it helps you, first of all, to understand your big picture. And then, session 2, we look at all the challenges. So it's like, okay, I have issues with my personal power and feeling good about myself. And we have tools to convert that into fuel for your like, mwah, 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 mwah. I love me.
Uh-huh.
Rock. I
Yeah.
am amazing. And you know what? All of that, all those times I pressed myself down, we can free that up.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, because, even if we've done, amazing stuff, it was kind of funny because I had somebody tell me the other day, because I've been going through some stuff, and they're like, normal people don't do that. They go through that and then they don't get out of it. They get stuck there. And I'm like, well, I didn't like it there. I left. What's next? What's next?
You saw that your purpose is not to be a victim, not to be stuck over there, but which, by the way, because you're 2911, and I didn't go into all the details, but there's also a tendency to say yes when you mean no and give away your power because of boundaries.
Yeah.
So those numbers, those birth paths have to do with, so what happens? You actually will get tested with relationships that are going to teach you how to say no when you mean no. Why? Because, life, abundance is not just money.
Mm-hmm.
Abundance is an abundance of time, an abundance of joy,
Yep.
an abundance of healthy relationships, an abundance of balance.
Yeah.
Spirit doesn't want us to say yes when we mean no,
Yeah. Exactly.
or to be, so committed to taking care of everyone else that we don't take care of ourselves.
Yes. Which can be easy to do.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. It can be very easy to do. And what's so interesting though is that you, with each of your kids, so your kids are a 6, which is my number. 6 is all about responsibility. So what's their issue going to be? Responsibility. Stepping into it or avoiding it would be their challenges. Each of them are 6s. They have 2 different ways of getting there. But with you, so each of your kids, so if we were to take you, we add up 1 plus 1, that's a 2, and your kids are a 6, a 2 plus 6 is an 8. So one-on-one with one of your kids, like say the Taylor, I remember his name, you two are an 8. Now, 8s are spiritual masters. It's like 8s are doing what makes your heart sing.
Yeah.
So when your son and you are both in your own power, your relationship, and that means you have the right boundaries, you don't give all your power away to him either, and you have this give and take, and he's handling his responsibilities, then you have many options to have your heart sing together, to have that love and to have success, especially around the kids.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you. And so that would be very fulfilling. 12, 13, 14. Yeah. And as a family unit, the 3 of you have a lot to learn about personal power. Okay, so your goal in that relationship with both kids as a family unit is really working, each of you working on building your own confidence to speak your own truth and to be your own leader, to be, sovereign.
Which is pretty cool because that's actually come up in conversations that the kids and I have had together. And I've, brought it forward as now is the time.
Yeah, yeah. Now is the time to learn, and that's for you too.
Yeah.
And this is kind of really very interesting. And then you together are going to create some kind of solid foundation for the family, physical, mental, spiritually. So creating a container that helps all of you together.
Yeah.
And that's a family mission. You see, that is like your purpose together is build stability
Yeah.
so that you can have freedom that supports you all to live your truth as opposed to restriction.
Yeah.
Your family unit has the opportunity to be expansive, huge potential for everyone to live their destiny, or conversely, has the opportunity to be like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
That kind of energy. And so it teaches us by knowing that it gives us, it's like, oh, we also have a family mission too.
That's really cool because, like, you have a path mission and you have a family mission, which is like all inclusive. So it's not leaving anything out.
You also have community missions. So, we're not just solo.
Yeah.
If we're a loner, we still have other soul contracts, other agreements that we've made. So, yeah, what is your personal mission? And then what is your mission within these relationships or even these groups, even our country? What is our, where do we fit? And and how do we upgrade our DNA templates, our own energetic field to actually be the best we can be and do this? We have one shot at it now. We're on a timeline that's either going to go towards fascism or towards freedom. And knowing really being able to shout our purpose and wake up, with that concept is going to be the way to go.
Can you, I have kind of an odd question. So I've heard a lot in the last couple of years about timelines. Can you explain or describe what those are? Because sometimes I find myself having an interesting time like visualizing a timeline.
Well, yeah. And so is your dog.
So does my dog.
I just heard barking.
I'm pet sitting.
Yeah, I just heard barking. So I was like, yes, there's a dog there. Okay, so let's talk about timelines for a minute. There's personal timelines and planetary timelines and galactic timelines, all intermingling with different levels of consciousness and dimensions. Okay, a timeline, a couple of ways to look at it is to say a timeline could be this is 2000, this is 2020, 2040, 2050, like moving along in a horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
And there are places in our timeline where shifts happened. Like, let's just use the American Revolution, 1776, a bifurcation happened. 2000, a bifurcation happened. We went on a more intense timeline. So there's a group called the Guardians of the Timelines, the Guardians of the Looking Glass, which is actually time travel.
Okay.
And in this, both the white hats and the black hats both have taken advantage of this time travel technology. And they've gone as far as 2030. And what they were able to see 2030, both sides saw the same thing, that in 2030, these timelines are going to come together and there's going to be a major cosmic event. How that cosmic event unfolds is going to determine the level of consciousness we've achieved. This is incredible. So you know how the ETs, the ships, respond to our thoughts?
Uh-huh.
The timeline responds to our vibrational frequency. So the more people that are into raising your frequency, raising, knowing who you are, walking this more higher ascension timeline, which,
Hmm.
which are a lot of the tools that I teach, but the more that we can do that, the more we're guaranteed to end up on that positive timeline. Because in 2030, when this event happens, well, the black hats just, think it's going to all be in favor of their dark negative timeline. However, what's been happening for them is because the white hats are us, we're the white hats too. See, white hat. Uh, but we are, because we carry the light. When we start to feel like there's going to be a false flag or this, then we put our positive thoughts in it. We're averting some of them. That's changing the timelines responding to us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the outcome is not written in stone. The only thing written in stone is that some kind of cosmic event is going to happen in 2030. If it happens, but the way, if it's going to be positive or negative. And that depends on us, which is so exciting. That means that if I said to you that your purpose on the planet, our major purpose on the planet, is to actually help shift the consciousness to this higher timeline. And knowing your mission tells you the tools that spirit, you came here, not spirit gave you gave yourself.
Hmm.
And you said by 2020 and 2021, 2022, 2024, you better wake up. And we are waking you up. We're going to activate your DNA so that you can do more than you ever dreamed possible. And what you're going to be doing is what you never even dreamed you're going to be doing. How do, right?
Yeah. It's that sounds like a really fun place to like start going now. Like, you know?
And it's required now. It's
Yeah.
required now because there's two potentials. They've seen it in when they've time traveled. They have seen that it could be dark or it could be light, just like what the mystics have said.
Hmm.
Okay, so people like me, people like you, ascended masters. That's ascension. That is walking this path of the positive timeline.
Yeah.
So timelines are not set in stone, they can be altered for the positive, highest frequency of all concerned.
And so that just depends on where we put our focus and um our ability to keep our frequency high and the choice.
Yeah, it's how you and your own personal timeline are working together, body, mind, and spirit aligned.
Hmm.
And you don't have to know anything more than like, okay, we're going for the positive timeline. Okay. And set your dial for the positive timeline, right? For ascension, which I think everyone should be doing anyway. But you don't
Yes.
have to know, you don't have to know the specifics, because that could get in your way.
Well,
Spirit,
and
go ahead.
sometimes it's more fun to not know the specifics because, you know, ask a question, get shown a little bit, and then you get there. And then you ask another question, get shown a little bit more. And it's kind of like opening one Christmas present at a time on Christmas morning.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And when I started painting 2000, I heard these voices: paint 33 angels in 30 days. What should I do with that? That's way too much. And all they kept showing me was just say yes. Just say yes. You don't have to know the outcome. In fact, if you knew the outcome, you'd run. Like if you knew you were going to spend 7 years in the desert, listen, you might run. Like that's too much. Bring me back to LA. So if we knew everything, that, or we have this other human quality where we go, me? Oh no, this is too much for me. I'm not worthy of this. And then we have this false humbleness that gets in our way also.
Yeah. It's so fun in a sense how there's always the choice of one spectrum or the other or down the middle.
And there's no judgment. It's only us that judge it, It's only us that judge it. But I have a compulsion. So I was very suicidal many years ago. And because things had gotten so hard.
Mhm.
And and I sat by the bridge. I'll never forget. I sat by the Golden Gate Bridge, tears coming down, writing in my journal. And I saw all these angels. Suddenly I was like transported to when I died. Okay. I have good visual abilities.
Mhm.
Here I am sitting on a chair in a room or someplace heavenly with all of these, with my team. And there I am crying, saying, well, couldn't do it. It was too hard. You sent me down to the dark night of the, like, no, that was terrible. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I had two overwhelming feelings. One is, oh my God, I'm going to have to go back and it's going to get harder. But
Ugh.
that doesn't mean that they're going to make it easier. Are you
Right.
kidding?
Yep.
And the second thing that hit me was the grief I felt about actually having to not fulfill that longing I had always had for this thing. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I needed to do it.
Yeah. That is incredible. So when you're talking, are those the angels that still stay with you now that you talk to, and that's your team still?
We all have a team. We have a team of both angelic beings, masters, soul families that's departed, ancestors that have contracts with us. We have soul contracts with our animals, agreements. They're part of our
Mm-hmm.
team. Some people have 14th dimension. So I have a 14th dimensional archangel, Joan of Archangel, who works with me. So we all have these beings, but when we pass, one of the first things that happen is they do a life review with you. Okay.
Ah,
Well, life, and this is known, everyone kind of knows. We don't stop and think about it, nor do
yeah.
most of us go, oh, wait, if I do this, imagine that life review is going to be crappy. I don't think we don't usually think about that, right? We don't use it to go, oh, I'm going to be a good girl because I see that life review.
Unless you were raised with my mother and God is always watching you.
Oh my God, there's a great television series called The Good Place. I don't know if you've ever seen it, The Good Place. And it's
It doesn't
about
ring a bell.
It's about these people who wake up after they died and they're in supposed heaven. And they're because they were the best of the best of the best of the humans. And shortly into their stay there, they start to realize that they were actually don't even belong there. Okay.
Wow.
They were the worst of the worst and they don't belong there. And so now they commit to living their best life, and so they do all these reincarnation things. It's a fun series, the Good Place. So they do all these things so they could get back to, or ensure their place. So they actually allow themselves to go back and die, so they can wake up again, and they don't remember each other. It's kind of very well done, about. But when we pass, you and I pass, there is a life review. So you get to go, oh my God, all there is love. And how much, I don't know. I couldn't forgive myself in the car. That's all I could say was the pain of going, okay, it was too hard. I couldn't do it. It was just too much. And I committed to then stepping out of my own lower vibrational depressions and finding a way to do what I came here to do so that I could one day leave here.
Yeah.
Guilt
There's a
free,
better life review the next time.
right? So I suppose that's another good reason to figure out what your life purpose is, right?
Yes. I would say that's a phenomenal, should be number one top reason to do it. Other than, we're here to also have the most fun we can in life. And I know from personal experience, if you're not on your path and doing what you're here to do, it's not fun.
No, and it's not fun now because a lot of people are going, life sucks now. Why I don't want to be here. So this is one thing I'm hearing a lot. Things are terrible on the planet. I don't want to be here. Why am I here? I don't want to be here. I'm upset that I'm here. And they're going downhill
Yeah.
because of that mindset. Whereas, 2 years ago, my guides went, when I threatened to like go with the, universal downhill consciousness, my guides went, they went like this.
Anybody
They did.
home?
They did. And they actually said to me, you call yourself Joan of Angels. Um, the mission that you came here and said you would do, if you're not going to do it, someone else will. And that's the truth also, Jane. There's a backup plan.
Yeah.
They know better than to just count on us 100%. We have to really be all in, and say yes, and say, okay, even if I have to go around the world saying I'm Joan of Angels and people stare at me, and go, Joan of Angels, I have to embrace it.
Yeah. Yep. Like the know, be, perceive, and receive goes along with what you speak. Yeah.
And it took me 7 years to live here in the desert to come out as Joan of Angels. Like, even though I had the name, I didn't have the sovereignty and the sense of power, the
Yep.
sense of command that now I have. So we all go through life changes. That's why I'm doing the class. I have a lot to teach. I have a lot of training. I've had a lot of training in groups. I have a lot of training in reading for people. I do that whether I think it's my Piscean empath self, but I feel really good about what I teach people. I've always been a teacher, a doctor. I'm a doctor as well, a doctor of chiropractic, and a doctor is a teacher.
Did you find that when you were doing chiropractor work, that you included automatically the intuitive side with that?
So, in those days, I didn't quite understand, but I had learned early how to do hands-on healing. And I would find myself doing this unique process. I'd have you come in, you'd sit in a chair, like a low chair, and we would chit chat. But meanwhile, my hands seemed to, like the old-fashioned yellow pages, I would say, my hands are doing the walking.
Yep.
Suddenly they would land in the exact spot someone's back hurt. But the funny story about my intuition is that 5 years after, must have been in 1980. Oh, it was when I was pregnant, 1990. A Persian guy and his wife come into the office. They had an accident. They'd been to the ER. They come to my office and I do a whole exam and x-ray and all is good.
Mm-hmm.
And they come back a day or two later for treatment. All is good. Wife is upstairs getting treatment and he's on the table. And as the table goes down, I put my hands on him. I hear a voice that says, if anyone's going to sue you, it's going to be him.
Yeah. Thank
And I
you.
heard that voice and I said, well, thank you. And I kind of, all right, here's what happens. It seemed too impossible. I didn't want to not adjust him. I did not want to listen to the intuitive voice. And so I adjusted him. Now here I am I'm pregnant. I adjusted him. His wife is upstairs, full office of like 20. There were a lot of people in the waiting room, and he starts screaming. I didn't even really touch him, okay? He starts screaming, and they must have planned it because his wife leaps up off the table upstairs. She's screaming. And for the first time and only time in 20 years of practice there, I had to call 911. And they carried him out. I thought I would die myself, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But and they sued me in small claims court. I went in small claims court. I was this big, from my bambinos.
Uh-huh.
The judge says to the other people, he says, well, Dr. Handgarters is my wife's chiropractor. We've never had any problems, but my wife is Dr. Handgarter's chiropractor. Do you have a problem with it? And they said no, because I think they were they really didn't understand. I don't know. They said no, and I won the lawsuit because they sued me. But that's an example of we get messages that are so bizarre. Who would listen?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who would listen? And I think you have that intuition class there also on the Ascended Master Series, because honestly,
Yes.
who would listen to this guy is going to sue you? Yeah, he did. He sued me. I heard it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I make you all go back and look. Like, did you really not know? Or did you just choose not to pay attention?
Yes, that I would say is spot on. Is the because I've gotten those messages too, and the ones I listened to, I was grateful I listened. The ones I didn't, I was like, wow, I wish, because I heard that and I ignored it, and holy cow, stuff falls
Right,
apart. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And thank God for our intuition nowadays because we're living in frosty times. So there is no rule book or guidebook that is right outside of us to cope with and thrive these days.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
we have to really have trust in the process that we are going to get through this, that this is unfolding for our highest good, that we have that clipboard and toolkit, and that we actually got this. You know, that
yeah,
we are meeting up with like-minded people to raise the vibrational frequency here on our planet so that we can actually have that which we came here to experience.
yeah. So before we wrap this up, is there any tidbit that you would like to, a message you'd like to leave the people with?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Guys,
figured there was.
I'm going to tell you that you already know what you came here to do. All right. This is not a mystery to you. You actually know. And so learning how to let go of every judgment that you have about yourself and your capabilities is really important. Like years ago, I'd go to psychics. I loved going to psychics. I guess I'm a psychic now too, but I would go to the psychic and I'd sit across the table, kind of like how we are now. And they
Uh-huh.
would say, well, you know that you are psychic and you should be sitting on my side of the table. So the way I responded, and this is the danger, is my ego went wild. Oh, isn't that great? I'm psychic. I am the best. I am psychic. And I had like an ego about it. You know, your psychic tells you something good about yourself. Now you're like, yeah, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
The downfall was I stepped into the ego of it. It's like, I must be great. I'm psychic. It took me years to actually start using the gift.
Yeah.
Years and years and years and years. So it backs up, you know, because your ego gets in and says, oh, I'm a leader. Well, you might be a leader like I am, but it's taken me also 40 years to really step into it because of all the things that I didn't want to know or deal with or I was running away from.
Yeah.
They do not make it easy for us to remember, uplift. You have to be committed. That's really what I'm going to tell you, Janie. You have to let go. You know, something weird's happened on the planet, and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to beat it. I'm going to rise above it.
Hmm.
I'm going to, be part of the solution because you doing your thing, you being in alignment with your mission and purpose, you're in alignment. The earth doesn't have to worry about you. You're aligned. And if I'm aligned, and then we start having alignment everywhere, then those who are not aligned, first of all, stand out like a sore thumb, but
Makes
resonate.
discernment a lot easier.
Well, it does, and you know who's not aligned, but also, when I used to tune my guitar, sometimes you'd play a little note, and then you could tell if the other notes would play in harmony. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
But we as humans are like those strings.
Hmm.
So being in resonance makes it easier for everyone on the planet.
And the
And
earth and the
yeah,
guides and everybody that's here to help us and our teams and the whole package.
and our animals, even our plants, God, the plants, scream too. We're really on a crazy planet that's alive. And
Yeah.
the more we release our own stuckness, the more we can go with the flow, like being out under the stars, like this particular,
Yeah.
scene is. We learn who we are
Yeah.
in relationship to it, and we awaken the memories. We can awaken the memories.
Absolutely. Ah, awesome. Awesome.
So
So Go ahead.
I have one quick question for you. So tell us how it helped for you to get that big picture about you and your life and your kids.
Um, it's pretty cool because um, basically you said um, what I had already been hearing. And it was really cool to have it validated. And then you also said something that somebody like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, had told me the exact same words.
And
You're
that is
here
a
to change the
compliment,
consciousness on the planet. And I was like,
right?
okay, now how do I do that?
Don't ask the how.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't come in the form we think. Like changing the planet could be happening right now as we both showed up for this interview.
Yep.
And I like to do like on my weekly shows, we actually have hold the globe, we put healing on the globe and raise the frequencies. So just stay steady.
Yeah. And the belief part, I can see where that is probably not such a strong point at the moment. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep. The
Yeah.
belief part. Absolutely. I hear
Yeah.
it. I hear it. And you need to have that belief. You need to know that all is unfolding for the highest good of
Yeah.
all concerned. And then you need to see confirmations, synchronicities. It's like, oh my God, what Joan told me I heard 2 years ago. Maybe there's something to that.
Hmm.
And maybe that's part of what I'm to do. So, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to have a good time in the class.
Oh,
And
I'm
I
excited
encourage
actually.
any of you guys, and it's 4 weeks. So, groups don't seem to be that popular these days because everyone's going to pre-recorded or I like groups. That's my old-fashioned way of having hands-on people to make sure you get it.
Well, and a group is very beneficial because you create more connections for one. You get to talk about things that are going on. You get to ask questions right in the moment. You're not going to sit down and write an email and Joan of Angels, I have a question from your class that you taught like 6 months ago. You can ask it
Right,
right now in the moment. It's groups are awesome
right, right.
for
And
many
it's
reasons.
and it's good to have that opportunity to connect to someone who's a good teacher for you.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
we find the master, the student appears and vice versa. So when you find resonance with a teacher, that's a good thing, you
Yes.
know,
That's
until,
a blessing, actually.
right?
Yep.
And we can have many teachers as we go, there's different levels we walk on.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful, beautiful energy, Janie. I love working with you. I feel like you have a path to walk with us too, and it's fun to just be in your auric field.
Thank you. Maybe that's the belief and holding the belief that all is good.
All is unfolding for the highest good of all concerned.
Yes.
So it is.
And so it is.
All right.
Awesome. So thank you all for tuning in. Remember to tune in often, tell all your friends. And most importantly, may all your dreams come true. Many blessings.